to the Jeep installment of the Booggie broadcast. I'm making my way downtown, walking fast, children pass, and I'm almost home now. Just figured I'd give you guys a little bit of a car action. It's a little test I want to do. Probably real noisy, but oh well. If you hear the background noise, that's what that is. Yeah, so it's been pretty hot here, and the weather thing got me thinking about climate change. It's 63 degrees right now on the Gulf Coast, and just has my brain racking. I don't know what to believe anymore. I am really on the fence about global warming. It's not so much because the idea that you have all these automobiles around that are polluting the sky. I mean, obviously it's not helping. How much is it really hurting is the real question. I don't think it's measurable. I believe it's immeasurable. I don't believe you can actually see or measure that. It's hard to think that we are the cause of it. I think that on a natural level, from us, not having enough trees, I guess I should say unnatural level, from us cutting down trees. Yeah, I don't think so much as that, because if you lived in the South where we are right now, you might be able to see even out my window that I'll make sure that you guys are actually seeing what I'm seeing. Like, if you saw what I saw here, what you see here, there are trees everywhere. Trees inhale or absorb the carbon dioxide and produce oxygen for us. We just do the other way around. We feed them, they feed us. And they feed off the sun, off the ground, off the water. But it's so moist. I know y'all don't like that word. It's so much moisture down here, so much rain down here, that trees and plants just grow frequently and fluently down here. There's so many. I don't think it's that in this region. Then again, I'm not a scientist, so how do I know? Someone said I contradicted myself a lot. It's because I'm trying to play both sides, being the devil's advocate and being the angel's advocate, or God's advocate, whatever. I don't think there's a vice versa to that. But for us to know exactly what global warming is, I think that's kind of a downfall to humanity. That's us saying that we are so certain, but we're not. We know that we're messing up our oceans. We dump a lot of stuff in there that shouldn't go in there. I mean, there's the trash land in the ocean mass on the floating deal. Man, I'm really butchering this. I don't know what it's called, but there is so much trash in one part of the ocean that it's bundled up and almost looks like a land mass. We're not helping the ocean. Do I think that we are ruining part of it? Yes. Do I think that the whole ocean is ruined? No. I mean, if you've ever traveled to the Florida Keys, you know that the water's very clear and pretty and swimmable and fishable. I live on the Gulf Coast, so I mean, I wouldn't recommend you swimming in our water, but it wouldn't kill you to swim in it. I go out to the islands all the time with my in-laws and my wife, and we swim out there and fish out there. It's much cleaner on the offshore, but inshore it's fairly, disgusting. Flesh-eating disease pops up here at least once every 2 years. What is caused by us and what is not caused by us? Global warming is a touchy subject with a lot of conservative people that I just so happen to be really close with. I was talking to a friend of mine, and I was telling him, I was like, I believe in a sense of global warming, at least on a natural level. Because naturally, the sun has flare-ups, and the distance between the Earth and the sun may or may not vary certain amounts. So yeah, the parts of the Earth are actually hotter. Does that mean that part of the Earth was that hot X amount of time ago? It's hard to say. I wasn't there. And even thousands of years ago, it's hard to say how to measure it. You can measure it by the layers in the Earth or layers in ice, by measuring the seasons and things like that. But it's just hard to exactly say what it is. I mean, you have people online and on the news saying pollution is ruining the world, or the gases from ag from agriculture. Cow farts. Cow farts. They're saying that cow farts have a large percentage to do with global warming. They did a study, it's like less than 1%. Do you realize that without that, it's hard for most people to live? And most people to make a living, agriculture is a huge percentage of American and even global income. You can't take that away from people. You can't steal that from people's lives. You can't do that. You know how many jobs and how many homes it would ruin if you just said, hey, no more factory farming. I don't like factory farming. But when I go to a restaurant and I order a steak, I'm going to ask them, hey, is this factory farmed? And then they say, well, yeah, and then me not eat it. The ethical thing to do would be to say, yeah, I'm not going to eat this. But also, I don't hunt for all of my own meat either. I'd like to, but I don't. So I don't want to be a hypocrite and say it's unethical for you to be against factory farming, because it just so happens that I eat Chick-fil-A. I know that's factory farming. It has to be. There's no way they can produce that much chicken for this many people. And it's just something that gets my brain thinking, like, what global warming exists. It does exist, but on what level, though, too? I mean, 1 through 100, it's hard to grade it. But I know that India suffers from such hot climate now than ever, that sometimes people have a hard time walking across streets because their shoes melt to the road. So, I mean, is that just coincidence? Is that just nature amping things up? Or is that from polluting the air? Or putting holes in the ozone layer? Sending spaceships out in the sky and puncturing holes and satellites and things like that. I mean, but on the natural level too, we have meteors and things that crash into the earth all the time. In Madagascar, it happens more than anywhere else on the earth. And it just so happened that's a very hot climate. So it could be a natural event of meteorites puncturing the ozone layer and introducing more UV rays through sunlight, thus amplifying the temperature of the continent of Africa. It's just so hard for me to be like, this is gospel and this is soothsaying or hearsaying. Like, it's just so difficult to pinpoint what is what. Facts are like that, in my opinion. If someone tells me a fact and I accept it, well, that's just me accepting a fact. That's not me going back and researching that fact. So when I hear from one side, this is the issue, and another side, this is the issue, I'm kind of forced to ride the fence because I haven't sat down and done my studying. I do know that the ice sheets in Greenland have changed their color from a white to a dark blue, and that the freshwater rain is having a hard time re-icing the ice sheets, and that the beaches are closed in certain areas because of tidal waves happening from the large amounts of ice falling off of the ice sheet that exists there. So Greenland is facing a type of global warming that we in America aren't very familiar with. I don't think that we Americans, we're in a different, an odd spot. We have multiple climates in our country, from below zero to almost 80 degrees all year round. I don't think we really deal with it the way other countries deal with it. And I also don't think that we study it that well either, because we're not as affected by it. I live in the South. I don't have a lot of people telling me what's what in the South. They're not really giving me a good sit down, here's what's happening. I haven't had a situation where I could sit down, listen to somebody explain it, and then have questions for them to answer back to me. I guess maybe I need to try to attend a summit or something like that. I don't know. It would be nice to know what to do to find out more information about it, but by unbiased information. Someone who is not necessarily doing it for a political reason, they're doing it more for a science reason. They're not interested in votes, or they're not interested in parties being elected. They're more so interested in just the knowledge of everyone in the world understanding what's going on. It's so hard for us to know the truth. It's very hard for us to know the truth. The truth is it best to pollute the air? No. But with the millions of microscopic filters that cover this whole world, whether it's a tree or the ground or just rainfall or clouds or whatever, there are natural filtration systems in the world. Certain animals in the sea filter the water, the oceanic water. There are things that are naturally taking care of the natural aspect of it. But it's almost like a hurricane. Like, are hurricanes our fault because we mess with the temperature of the world? I just don't know. I just don't know. I don't know if we are the cause of it. But also, I'm not arrogant or or pushy enough to say that it's not here. It does not exist. It exists. It's inevitable that all of the stuff that we're putting in the air could hurt it. Yeah, but what is the time frame for that? Okay, that argument's over with. Well, now let me play the other side. It's been happening for a long time. Pumping either nuclear waste in the water or in the air, jet fuel flying through the sky thousands of times a day, falling on us. Our water is so polluted, it's unreal. I mean, just like that whole Alabama deal where they dumped the 250 pounds of septic sewer into the water during the flooding. And also the flesh-eating disease that whether it's natural or not natural, obviously it's natural, but like the algae, what is that caused by? Well, it's caused by many things, but it's caused by not enough fish eating the algae that causes the flesh-eating bacteria to arise. So we have too less of the fish. Is that from us, the gill netters, or from us fishing, overfishing? This is a different thing I've just been thinking about, because there's so many people who are just so oblivious to the fact that, climate change doesn't exist. No, it does exist, but on what kind of level does it exist? That's the big question. What kind of level? Show me a tier level chart on how it exists naturally and what we did to make it exist, or make it push the envelope. Like, what more did we do about it? I mean, I was too young to be involved or know about the Al Gore campaign, but that was a politician who just so happened to be versed in global warming, and his predictions didn't come true, and then he changed it to climate change. That's something more I can kind of understand. But he's a politician. And there have been a couple of podcasts and a couple of NPR news segments that I have listened to that have talked about climate change, but they haven't really, like, convinced me of one or the other. I mean, I don't really have a political party anymore. I've kind of gotten rid of that. So with that being said, I'm very open to information from other sources. I would like to find out more. Right, sorry about that cut off. Anyway, I do know one thing. I know that a lot of people think, maybe some people think, that the small portion of what could be fixed is electric cars. Electric cars are not going to fix anything. And there's one major reason about the car, and there's two major factors about the major reason of the car. And the major reason of the car is the battery. The two major reasons is the production of the battery and the disposal of the battery. Haven't you ever wondered, why am I supposed to pull my batteries out and dispose of them differently? It's because if that battery's chemicals are introduced to other chemicals, there could be spontaneous combustion. Water will not put out a battery fire. It will only amplify it, much like a magnesium fire. And you also face the fact of devastating wildlife in landfills. The birds that come down and eat a battery, and you could have millions of dead birds or animals or harmful soil that could get into our water. It's multiple things. And the production of a battery is no better. The production of a battery is absolutely horrible. I mean, you're talking about lithium batteries being produced in massive quantities. Ton of pollution involved in that. The fuel you have to burn to create those, and the organic materials you have to obtain to get those, the transportation of the battery to the factory, that's not going to happen by anything other than a train or a freight liner. So I wouldn't say you're necessarily helping by buying an electric car. You're burning less fuel, good for you, but what are you really doing? That's not a safe bet. That's not a solution. It's not. Is it a better thing to do? Yeah, obviously, but only for exhaust fumes, nothing else. It's not, you're robbing from Peter to pay Paul. You're not really doing anything extra. So with that being said, it's just difficult to pinpoint what a solution would be and if there even needs to be a solution. I don't think I think one of the craziest things is, one jet flight doesn't even equal a lifetime of a car's, one jet flight of a passenger doesn't even equal the lifetime of a car's pollution. So if anything, we need to stop flying. But hardly anybody's going to do that, especially all of these celebrities who endorse global warming. They won't quit flying on their tours. They won't quit doing that. Too much money involved. Anyway, just some food for thought. I just was thinking about it. Transportation is something really heavy on my heart. Maybe the next time I'll talk about some transportation when I have a little bit of better quality audio going on. It's just something that was on my heart because I'm just on the fence about it. I don't know. And I'm not saying I don't know and I don't want to find out. I'm saying that I am interested in it. So if you want to DM me or email me or message me about it or whatever your thoughts are, I'd like to hear about it because I really do want to know more about it. So thank you guys for just tuning in. This is my first time trying this out. Hopefully it all works out. And appreciate you guys and everyone around. Peace, love, prosperity, charity, and wealth. Hope you guys are out there hustling, getting that money. And hope you guys are out there loving on your honey. And I hope you guys are out there petting on a bunny. Whatever that means. I'm on a road trip. Should be at my destination in about 5-10 minutes. Good talking to you guys. Hopefully you all have a great day. Have a good weekend. If this isn't posted by that time. Peace.